Hey friend, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the subtle art of being a bitch. Now, I'm not talking about any kind of bitch. I'm talking about one who is kind, lovable, has a heart of gold that people love to be around, one who always gets what she wants, but most importantly, one who has boundaries. How can one be a bitch but also still get everything that they want? And it's simple. It's to get out of the trenches of being a people pleaser. So growing up, the media romanticized the girl who didn't know her worth, the girl with low confidence, the girl who always got overlooked, and the girl that no one chose. One day, the jock, the school's star athlete, quarterback. What positions are there on the football team? Quarterback, linebacker, whatever back. One day, the school's back notices her. He's like, oh, who is this mystical goddess? Suddenly, she goes from overlooked to overbooked. All the girls want to be her friends. All the guys are lusting over her. She suddenly has this newfound confidence and whoa, she's just that it girl. But the truth is, just like Cinderella and so many other rom-coms from back in the day, those stories do not reflect the reality of the everyday girl. The truth is, unless you change, your story doesn't. The world doesn't start noticing you, your worth, your value, and then you change. It happens in the opposite direction. So you notice your worth, your value, you put some respect on your name before the rest of the world does. If you're playing small, if you think you're worthless, if you don't see your value, then most of the outside world won't see that either. Now you might be thinking, what gives me the credentials to talk about being a people pleaser? Well, let me introduce myself. Hello, my name is Lynn and I'm a recovered people pleaser. Now, I wasn't always a people pleaser. Growing up, I was always very confident. I had a great friend group. I wasn't bullied in school. I didn't really care if people liked me or not. I had a great upbringing. Yes, we were poor. I was very poor, but I didn't know I was poor. I felt very confident. I was happy. I just loved life. I still do. But there was a period of my life where I was in a mental jail because I was people pleasing and I didn't even recognize that that's what I was going through until I did. If I could just trauma dump on you just a little bit and be honest, once I started to really grow on social media, I found myself turning into a people pleaser because I was trying to appease the masses and figure out what I can do to make more people like my content, follow my content, just like me as a person. I was also trying to appease people who worked with me. I was trying to make sure that they felt appreciated. I was trying to make people around me feel assured that even though I had amassed this amount of new success and I've entered into this new era of being hyper visible and hyper successful, I just want you to know that I'm still the same girl. I had a fear of people not liking me anymore because of who I was becoming. So let me explain to you the time period. Essentially, I had been working on my business consistently, but on the side for many years. I was in school full-time and I was working a full-time 9-to-5 job. Around 2019, I experienced tremendous growth and it only seemed to be constantly growing and snowballing until I took a break because I was burnt out. And it took me taking some time back to assess and analyze where I'm at in life and recognize that my behaviors were inauthentic to myself because I was being a people pleaser. There were a lot of other contributing factors to my burnout, but people pleasing was one of the main ones. I recognized that it is the worst mental jail to ever find yourself locked up in. Oh my gosh. So there's physical jail, but if you want to know what mental jail feels like, go ahead and ask yourself, what does it feel like to be a people pleaser? What does it feel like to wake up every day and live your life for what other people want? Trying to figure out ways to make people like you is a sad way of living. I think a lot of people wear the title of people pleaser with a little bit of a badge of honor because they feel like, well, I know that I'm like dishonoring myself, but it's to please other people. How great of a human am I being because I'm pleasing other people? But people pleaser is just the title. At its core, it simply means that you're being manipulative, you're being deceptive, you are not being authentic to yourself or the people around you. So essentially, you are harming yourself and people around you by being a people pleaser. It's not something to be proud of. And I'm saying this as someone who is an ex-people pleaser. Something I really pride myself on when I first started this channel is that I wanted to be myself and the people who could relate. My job is not to show up on the internet and try to be relatable. I'm going to be myself. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And that same thing needs to manifest in my real life as well. And I acknowledge that once I took a step back from content creation and trying to do all the marketing things to make sure that people resonate with me, resonate with my brand, and like me for me, and blah, 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 blah. I realize the only time I'm going to experience peace is if I'm being authentic to myself. And I think a lot of other people can relate to that. You may be finding yourself performing. You're performing at work. You're performing in your friend circles. You're performing when you go out on dates. You're performing around your family. How exhausting is it to be an unpaid actress 24/7? I just know you're tired, friend. But I get it, because everyone wants to be liked. It's part of our Maslow's hierarchy of needs to be a part of community, to feel a sense of belonging. Everyone wants to feel like they belong. But the more energy you put into trying to get people to like a version of you that doesn't exist, you are robbing time from people who like you for you. Scratch that. You are robbing time from people who love you for you. You are robbing yourself of genuine joy, genuine connections, genuine relationships with people who like the version of you that exists right now. How amazing would it be to just spend quality time with people that you don't need to be performative around, to spend time around people that you don't need to do mental gymnastics around every time you're talking to them, because you don't want to see the wrong thing that's going to upset them, make them feel insecure, make them feel envy. How amazing would it be if you could just spend your free time and quality time with people who just love you for you and not feel super tense all the time? There's at least one person that you can think of right now, whether it's a coworker, a friend, a family member, who you can think of right now, that around them you have to watch what you say, because at any moment they can be really offended by what you said, even though you know and they know that you weren't trying to offend them, but you triggered them anyways and now they're offended. So you find yourself around these people tiptoeing around their emotions, or you tiptoe around what information you share with them because they're probably going to judge you, hold it against you, all these other things. This is a sign that you are people pleasing. You are people pleasing if you feel the need to be performative around others. And I hate to break it to you, because I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that is super manipulative and deceptive, not only to yourself, but to the people, the very same people that you want to like you. And now that they like you, they don't even know you, because they know a version of you that doesn't exist. So they like a version of you that doesn't exist. You did all that work for them to still not even like you, because they like you 2.0. And you 2.0 is just a character that you pull out anytime you're around them. I'm saying this from a place of someone who has been a people pleaser, has now recovered from people pleasing, and has also been on the receiving end of people pleasing. And I can tell you firsthand, that stuff does not feel good. It does not feel good to be on the receiving end of someone either being nice to you or helping you, even though they really don't want to do it. They're only doing that because they expect something of you. So either way, whether you are people pleasing or you're on the receiving end of people pleasing, it's such a terrible, icky, violating feeling. The problem with people pleasing as well is that oftentimes when you hold on to this resentment for so long, by the time you speak up, it's such a dramatic experience for all parties involved, because you've been holding on to a resentment internally that the other person doesn't even know exists, because every time you're around them, you are such a performer. So let's talk about how we're going to reverse this, how we're going to move on in life not being a people pleaser, because we've already acknowledged that it's not authentic to ourselves, it's deceptive, it's controlling, it's manipulative, and it's a very violating feeling for not only ourselves, but the very same people that we are trying to please, right? So number one, I say this at the end of all of our videos, but I mean it, you've got to be true to you. You have to get comfortable with the idea of doing things yourself. Stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to be a part of the crowd. Stop waiting on people to give you the permission to simply be you and do the things that you want to do. You have to wake up one day and recognize that you are living a life for yourself. Stop waiting on people to give you permission to travel, to start the business, to take a new class, to enroll in school, to start a new career path. Stop waiting for other people's opinions and other people's approval. Get comfortable with having your approval and God's approval, and that's it. If you truly feel like you are a good person, anything that you do is going to be good. So you don't need to be worried about whether it's the right or wrong move. Just know that it's a good move, period. Stop fixating on being the perfect overachiever that everyone is so in love with and everyone's obsessed with. You are never, ever, ever, I hate to break it to you, ever going to be able to appease everybody. The only person you should be fixated on pleasing is yourself and God. So if you are making decisions that are not harming anyone, not putting anyone's life in danger, live your life, okay? Understand that no one is going to show up for you the way that you show up for you. And other people will only be able to show up for you if they recognize that you show up for you. And the gag is that people show up for you more when they see that you take yourself seriously. People play with you less when they see that you're authentic. It's the craziest thing ever. When people see that you are desperate to be liked, they feel that energy and they retreat or they disrespect. Those are the two options. Because why? People's only option is to mirror your actions to yourself. You're being inauthentic to yourself, people are going to be inauthentic to you. You're disrespecting yourself, people are going to disrespect you. You're overworking yourself, people are going to overwork you. You don't respect your own boundaries, people won't respect your own boundaries. You are retreating from yourself, you are hiding from your real self, people will hide from you. People will not want to be around you because you can't even be honest with yourself. So how can you be honest with me? Please, hear me. Number 2, you need to spend time with yourself. If you have to be able to be in your own company and like it. If you don't even like being with yourself, why would somebody else like being with yourself? Travel by yourself, do self-care by yourself, go out to eat by yourself, go watch a movie by yourself. Enjoy your own company, your own energy, because when you genuinely love yourself, everybody's energy and everybody else's love and affection, etc., it's just a bonus. It's just more to add. It's just a little sprinkles on top, but the sundae's already complete. The dessert is already desserting. And everybody else's love and affection and all these other great things that are amazing, beautiful things to have in one's life, they are just bonuses. I like me. So if you like me too, then it's just a bonus. But I was already gonna like me anyway. I was gonna do that anyway. I was gonna be loved whether you love me or not because I love myself. You know what I mean? And don't be afraid to love yourself either. We have to abolish this notion that if you love yourself, you're self-centered and that you don't love other people and that you don't care for the well-being of others. It's simply the weirdest narrative out there possible. I can't authentically love others if I don't love myself. You have to love yourself first in order to be authentic with the love for anybody else. Otherwise, your love is really possessiveness. It's really controlling behaviors. It's really abandonment issues and attachment issues that you've wrapped up and put a pretty little bow on it and titled it as love when it really isn't. It's probably lust, it's probably envy, it's probably resentment, it's all those other negative emotions. It can't be love if you don't love yourself. Point blank, period. Next tip is to listen to your inner voice. Listen to your inner good. The inner voice that we're talking about, it's your good. When I mentioned that there are certain people around you that you have to be performative around, you automatically thought about somebody. Don't ignore that feeling. Don't ignore your gut. There's a difference between fear and intuition. Fear, you feel right here in your chest. It's hard to breathe a little bit because you're a little anxious. Your breathing is a little funky when you are fearful. Now, when your intuition is trying to tell you something, baby, that's in your gut. You feel that down here. You feel that in your whole entire gut that something is off. My energy doesn't align with this person. You have to pay attention to those things. Do not ignore the signs that your body and your spirit, your soul is trying to warn you of. Stop gaslighting your own intuition. If your body is telling you that you don't necessarily get along with a certain individual, just listen to that and move on. You don't have to be friends with everybody, which brings me to my next point. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Matter of fact, you're a beautiful glass of Prosecco. Not everyone drinks Prosecco. You know what I mean? You're a tall glass of smart water, and not everyone enjoys drinking water. You're a tall glass of lemonade on a hot day, and some people are diabetic. What I'm trying to say is that you're not going to be palatable to everybody. Not everybody's going to like you. You're not going to be everyone's preference, and you can't be. You are never going to be able to be. So stop trying. Think of your most favorite person in the world. There's at least one person who doesn't like them, even though you think the world of them. And the same goes for you. You are not going to be able to appease everyone. Stop trying to get everyone to like you. Let the people who don't like you just not like you. Go on and fixate on the people who are in your life, the people who do show up, and the people who like you for you. And my next tip is to learn to speak up for yourself. Set clear and firm boundaries. But here's a pro tip. Always think of the desired outcome when you express your boundaries instead of thinking about how you feel. Because if I think about how I feel and I'm expressing my boundaries, it's going to come out sassy. It's going to come out with a little drizzle of attitude on top. It's going to come out with a certain tone because I'm annoyed and I cannot believe that I have to express this to you and da-da-da-da. But if my desired outcome is peace and I think about the desired outcome, I'm going to find ways to articulate myself in a way that is respectful and communicates that these are my boundaries and I love you and I want you in my life, but only if you can respect these boundaries. And if not, we'll have to move forward from there. But this is ultimately what I need for myself, and I hope you can acknowledge and respect that. Point blank, period. That's it for today's video. I just want to say that you are already somebody. You're not going to become somebody the day that you impress certain people or you get into certain rooms or you have certain amount of followers or you get certain people's approval or certain people are proud of you, etc., etc., etc. That's not what makes you valuable, and that's not what makes you somebody. You are already somebody and you are already valuable. That occurred from the day you were born. I just want to put that out there and remind you that you are already somebody. So friends, stop trying to get the approval of people who are humans and flawed, just like you and I. The only people's approval that you need are your own approval and God's approval. And that's just that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you so much. I love you to the moon and back. Be true to you. Bye.